Hi everyone, this is Chris Meunier. This is the video recording with the second step, Step B, in the how-to guide to QA for startups. The guide QA for startups is not just for startups. It's what to design and expect in a QA/QC program and initiative with a startup mindset, whether actually at a startup or inside an enterprise corporation. The QA for Startups guide aims to offer software quality assessment, guidance, and measures geared to the uniquely special characteristics commonly inherent within a startup, both preventative and detective, to ensure and improve toward the result of productizing better quality software to benefit in the highest levels with the establishment and maintenance of an efficient and effective testing, management, and communication protocol with executives, product managers, testers, developers, and engineers. The QA for Startups guide has a set of workflow steps to be followed when implementing a QA/QC program and initiative with a startup mindset. Each step is identified with a letter of the alphabet starting with A and ending with J. There are 10 steps altogether. Please note, in the workflow, there's an educational step, Step D, regarding the analysis of reasons why QA finds bugs. This is not a critical step in the workflow, but will be covered in a separate video. Another way to see the workflow steps in the QA for Startups guide is as a foundation stack which builds the set of workflow steps to be followed when implementing a QA/QC program and initiative with a startup mindset. The items shown in the foundation stack match the workflow steps. Step D, regarding the analysis of reasons why QA finds bugs, is not a critical step and is not shown, but will be covered in a separate video. The second step in the QA for Startups guide is Step B, Inquiry. This is a very exciting part of QA in general, and QA for startups in particular, because of the exposure of a role beyond tester, and that is a journalistic role for research. As QA and QC become more familiar, it's obvious that there are 4 distinct roles of responsibilities that are played. Tester, the traditional QA role as many know, journalist or researcher, analyst, but more along the lines of a consultant, advisor, listener, and sometimes therapist, and finally, educator or teacher to others on the team about what QA and QC is and how it is implemented. This step, Step B, prompts questions to be asked to establish and initiate a QA/QC program that I recommend. There are 10 questions in this step. If the question doesn't apply, think about another one. They can be stored in the questions and findings file, a spreadsheet most often, established in Step A, Start, describing the basic files. Each question is unique, has a value on its own, and part of the toolbox for initiating and implementing a new QA program in an organization. We'll go through each question individually. The first question to start off with is the number 1. What is the problem domain that the software product is attempting to solve, and how? This may sound elementary, but it's surprising how much information and knowledge and definition can be extracted from this single question for a testing role. This question aims to establish a key value pair of a fundamental question with a succinct response as a foundation for the QA testing work to be performed. The question is best answered in the form of a test question, like, the problem domain that the software product is attempting to solve is, fill in the blank, and is going to be accomplished by, fill in the blank. This question can be asked of any number of people and roles to ensure integrity and synchronicity. The second question is the number 2. Where are feature requests and bugs being documented? Spreadsheet, ticketing system. This is key to setting the expectation that all change requests are contained in a tracking system of some sort. Feature implementation, bug fixes, and technical chores or tasks. This question aims to establish an expectation for a tracking system for the QA testing work to be performed from. The question is best answered in the form of a test question, like, the change request tracking system is, fill in the blank, and is managed by, fill in the blank, and groomed with the frequency of, fill in the blank, and reports are available within the tool, or not. If reports are not available, it could mean that the need to export the data and then create reports in a spreadsheet program. This question can be asked to a product manager or CEO or any other single person knowledgeable and involved as a participant in the acceptance of feature implementations and bug fixes. The third question to start off with is the number 3. Are there any existing documented test cases, scripts, routines for manual testing? This may sound unnecessary, but test cases or documents with scripts may have been written and followed by others and could shed some light and knowledge for how testing has been performed in the past and what improvements or optimizations could be made going forward for a QA testing role. This question aims to establish whether existing attempts have been made in testing as a foundation for the QA testing work to be performed or learned from. The question is best answered in the form of resource links or attachments to any files that have been created. This question should be asked to a number of people and roles because individuals may have created their own scripts and test lists. The fourth question to start off with is the number 4. Is there a demo script documented with a happy path as defined by the product owner, product manager? This script, a lot of times, is what there is to go off of and see what level of end-to-end testing has occurred and is performed on a routine, regular basis for QA testing to leverage and build out from. This question aims to establish testing is performed before demos, and if so, what does that testing path look like as a foundation for the QA testing work to be further expanded? The question is best answered in the form of a resource link, like a document or attachment to be reviewed. This question should be asked to a number of people and roles because individuals may have created their own scripts and test lists in engineering, sales, product, and perhaps even engineering and executives. The fifth question to start off with is the number 5. Is there an inventory of users documented or visible using an administration tool? Having a list of users, ideally through an administration software tool, is a way to start thinking about the roles of users and logins necessary for testing the software. This question aims to establish a list of various user types and roles as a foundation for the QA testing work to be performed. The question is best answered in the form of a list or a spreadsheet or access to an administration software tool. This question can be asked to engineering or product management or operations. The sixth question to start off with is the number 6. Is there an administration tool for the application beyond direct database access? Many software products have configurations and administrative features which could manifest various combinations of testing. An example could be the number of modules accessible based on a licensing model. This question aims to establish what configurations and administrative settings may be in the software as a foundation for the QA testing work to be performed. The question is best answered in the form of access to an administration software tool. This question can be asked to engineering or product management or operations. The seventh question to start off with is the number 7. Is there an automated continuous integration build server in place pushing to the dev stage QA environment? This question aims to establish what level of continuous delivery capability there is for testing and integration, and also what server environments exist. The question is best answered in the form of stating which CI, continuous integration, server is being used, how the jobs are kicked off, and which servers exist. This question can be asked to engineering or operations or DevOps. The eighth question to start off with is the number 8. Are there integration tests coded for automated build testing in the code repository? Are they auditable? This question aims to establish what level of automated test coverage exists, where the tests are located, and if they are part of the build process and available to engineers for local testing before attempting to check in or merge their code. The question is best answered in the form of gaining access to the code repositories and to the CI server environment to review build jobs. This question can be asked to engineering or operations or DevOps. The ninth question to start off with is the number 9. Are there any calendars updated or emails sent out covering the assessment, priority, alerts, demos, and daily stand-ups to have access to or be CC'd on? This question aims to establish inclusion in calendar entries for QA testing to have awareness through notifications of issues and be able to participate in various meetings and process ceremonies, like for Scrum. The question is best answered in the form of being added to monitoring systems and calendar invites. This question should be asked to a number of people and roles because individuals may have different access and calendar entries, so ask engineering, sales, product, and perhaps even executives. The 10th and last question to start off with is the number 10, what browsers, devices, platforms, and operating systems are supported to be tested upon? This is a vital question for QA testing to be aware of the supported client software configurations to be tested with the software product. This question aims to establish a list of supported client software configurations and additionally a list of non-supported client software configurations as a foundation for the QA testing work to be performed. The question is best answered in the form of the list of browsers, devices, platforms, and operating systems supported. This question should be asked to a number of people and roles because individuals may have different expectations of what's supported and what's not supported. So ask engineering, sales, product, and perhaps even executives. The step B, inquiry, questions, QA asks to begin with, is a way to initially populate the questions and findings file, as well as establish a baseline of understanding of the system under test and the processes that go along with that, including continuous integration environments, calendar invites and events, lists of users, and administrative tools. There are numerous other questions that can be asked, perhaps countless, and we will cover more in another step of the QA for Startups guide. The intent of this list is to get the questions and discussions going initially. So in summary, this step in the QA for Startups guide presented Step B, Inquiry, in this video recording. This step prompts questions to be asked to establish and initiate a QA/QC program that I recommend. There are 10 questions in this step. If the questions or the question doesn't apply, think about another one. They can be stored in the question and findings file, a spreadsheet usually, established in Step A, Start, describing the basic files. Each question is unique, has a value on its own, and part of the toolbox for initiating and implementing a new QA program in an organization. We went through each question individually. We will cover other steps in other subsequent video recordings. If you'd like to review the document version of the QA for Startups guide, please contact me via LinkedIn. If this video recording was helpful, please share it. And click to subscribe or check back for upcoming video recordings as we go through the guide. Again, thank you very much for your participation in making software better.